First 8 minutes full of instructions. The session is on communication skills, non-verbal communication, verbal communication. The tutor has years of experience in the teaching field, and at the same time he also asks the learner to not restrict, to be at ease whenever he wants to express something, and then goes to generalized statements such as Indians are timid and shy, you need to have a demeanor, the Europeans are not like that. Lot of things happening during the session. I know that you'll be wondering about what the topic is. We all come across a lot of conversational videos on YouTube, and some of them have been helping many people. Even I upload conversational videos on my channel. Most of the speaking platforms allow the participants, that is the learners, to upload the sessions on their YouTube channels. And that also helps many people who are not able to enroll in other platforms, training sessions. Everything is good. But you know something? Today, wrong methods are viral. So I happened to watch a session on one of the speaking platforms that's predominant today, these days. I'm not saying that all the methods followed by speaking platforms are right. I've already done videos on that because I've had the experience of tutoring on speaking platforms. Anyway, coming to this session, you can consider this as an experience that I had watching a particular session. Now, I share points from the experience that I've got, and when something is wrong, I say that it's wrong. When something is right, I appreciate, and I also ask everybody to follow that. I came across a channel, a good channel. I'm not going to mention the name of the channel. And this learner has been taking sessions on different platforms. He is a determined learner who keeps speaking, who loves to connect with people. Most of us are like that. And you know that sometimes people promote subconsciously and unknowingly the wrong methods of learning. So here in this session, this learner, as I told you, has been taking a lot of sessions with tutors. So here you have a tutor and a learner. And the tutor has got good language skills and communication skills. And I'm not trying to say that this tutor is bad and has got no skills, but the methods. We need to discourage the wrong methods. See, when it comes to a sinner also, or people who, commit crimes, we are not against the criminals, but we are against the act of crime. Now here, teaching in the wrong way is also not correct. Okay, so I'm not speaking about crime and comparing that with crime, but we cannot promote wrong methods of teaching and learning. So here there's a learner and there's a tutor, and it's a one-to-one session. And as soon as the session opens, it happens on a speaking platform. We all begin with introduction. So on the speaking platforms, we have 15-minute sessions, we have 25-minute sessions, because the objective is to speak, to allow the participant to speak, to have a good rapport between the learner and the tutor. And when you have a tutor, the tutor corrects you. Okay? It's good to connect with the tutor. I continued watching the session because of these reasons. The tutor begins with a self-introduction. The learner also is asked to give an introduction. But after that, the tutor says, feel comfortable, you have to be at ease. Here on this platform, I allow all my learners, that is the participants, to speak. You should not restrict, you should not hesitate to speak, just allow your thoughts to flow. And then the learner says, okay, yes, thank you so much, yes, sir. He acknowledges everything, okay? He's such a patient learner. And then the tutor says, you would have heard about communication skills, verbal communication, non-verbal communication, and then he asks a lot of questions about that on those topics. And then the learner says, I know about it and I'm quite familiar, but not much. I don't have profound knowledge, but still I can share something. Then the tutor goes on to speak. The first 8 minutes loaded with instructions and guidelines. You should speak like this. You should have a smile on the face. You should speak with a demeanor. I'll come to each point. I'm coming to each point, okay? And then after that, the verbal communication should be like this. The non-verbal communication should be like this. See, I'm not against instructions. We can give instructions. Even when I take my training sessions, I give instructions. But the teacher talk time was predominant. And that too for the first 8 to 10 minutes, full of instructions. Instructions, fine, you can give instructions, but it's more about you speak like this. This is the best way to speak. This is the only way you have to speak. This is the best way to communicate. Of course, we have to follow some guidelines when it comes to communication skills. Even I have been speaking about that. But certain things that I noticed, I just couldn't stop from sharing that with you. The first thing is when we use words like demeanor. What is the meaning of demeanor? It is the character, behavioral pattern, the also the facial expressions, the gestures that a person has naturally, something that is also adopted. That is demeanor. Okay, so there are no rules saying that you should have this demeanor. You should be like this when you communicate. You can watch all the videos that I've done on communication skills. Even you can watch the videos done by several legendary speakers and YouTubers. Demeanor is a great word. But what is the meaning? You can have a pleasant approach. Okay? And you should also have the courage, the confidence to say, or to at least back out in a polite way when people are not good, in the sense when they don't have a good approach. You can politely back out. You can politely refuse. That is also fine. That's also part of communication. I'm not going to take a class on communication because I've already done that at length through my videos. The first and foremost thing is the tutor was continuously reminding, it's a sort of reminder that you need to speak, don't restrict yourself. And as far as I have seen, he speaks confidently. He has been learning only through conversations. Something great about this learner is that he corrects himself. He's a great listener. He had better listening skills than the tutor during that particular session. So he never restricted, and he was trying to get a gap to express himself. And then comes a self-introduction. But in between, the tutor was shooting all the instructions. And after 8 minutes, he asks a question. And then the learner begins speaking. After the self-introduction, then 8 minutes passed. And after that, he gets a chance to speak. As soon as he speaks, the tutor begins correcting. I'm not saying that spot correction is wrong. Even some learners ask me to correct them on the spot. But there is a pattern that we have to observe. As a tutor, I should know, at least I should have the discretion to analyze that when you correct a person for every other sentence, during every other thought conveyed through a particular sentence, the learner can feel underconfident. He can lose the confidence that way. It's good that the tutor takes a note of the tenses. So take a note of the pattern of mistakes that's made. But suppose there is a problem with the pronunciation or something that you have to correct on the spot, you can try it out. You can do it with the learner. But here for every other sentence, the tutor was correcting. He was trying to say, my dear, the name was given. Don't say like this, say like this. Okay, it's a good way to correct. And the learner was so patient. So as a learner, you need to have patience. But correcting every other sentence is not a good technique. Even when I did CELTA, there were a lot of people, there were a lot of colleagues of mine who tried this during the teaching practice sessions, TP sessions, but then the main tutor said, don't do that. You can take a note of the pattern of mistakes. If you really want to correct on the spot, you can do it, but make sure that you don't do it for every other sentence. So this was happening during this session. Please don't follow this method. It is a kind request to all the tutors and the learners. Here I'm not trying to say that the tutor was wrong in every aspect. Of course, he gave some good guidelines. That's great. But still the method, no. Then after giving a lot of instructions and guidelines on communication skills, I think it was a duty of the tutor to demonstrate that, to show what is the meaning of real listening skills. The tutor had to demonstrate these skills of listening and then slowly, gradually, at ease, naturally correct a learner. That is how the learner gains confidence. Otherwise, the tutor simply, subconsciously and eventually brings down the confidence. And also, the learner is left with no guidelines, no output. All my sentences were wrong. I think I made a lot of mistakes today. I'm not saying that you cannot learn without making mistakes and you should always be praised by the tutor. That's not my point. But overdoing things. And the tutor said you shouldn't restrict yourself. You should speak. Yes, that's correct. You have to speak, in fact, shamelessly without even having any restrictions. Don't hesitate while speaking in English. It's just like any other language. But there were general statements made. All the Indians are timid, shy, but the Europeans and the Westerners, the Americans, they are quite confident about the way they speak, about the way they carry themselves. See, there are psychologists and counselors from the western parts of the countries also saying and confirming that we have shy people, timid people among us, just like how we have. We are surrounded by such people. I'm not speaking about being an introvert or an extrovert, but this varies with background, environment, and the character traits. So, all of us try to come out of the obstacles that we face in life when it comes to communications. It could be a small obstacle, it could be a block, whatever it is. So, generalizing should not happen during our training sessions because in India, we have got a lot of people who have proved that they are great speakers. Okay, they go to speak to the western parts of the world and they have proved that they're great. And when we speak about being timid and being shy, shy could be temporary also. It can also be a part of a pattern, behavior, character, whatever it is, where the person is not comfortable or always restricts from speaking openly or stops the self from speaking or expressing or even doing something, saying that I'm shy, I'm a bit shy, not very comfortable. Okay, that is the meaning of shy. But timid can be a behavioral pattern where you have a little bit of fear and also quite anxious, nervous, along with shyness. So, fear, anxiety, not knowing what to do. Sometimes people can also be impulsive because of their timid nature, hiding behind. Along with that, fear also. Fear, shy, anxiety. So, it's a combination of many things. So, we cannot say that everybody, whenever we make statements, we have to be very clear with that. All Indians are timid and shy? I don't think so. I have seen Western people also. So here I'm not trying to bring about any discrimination or say that all the Western people or all the Westerners are quite open. It's not like that. It varies with behavior, personality, background, environment. I'm very clear about these points. So as a tutor, I think it's very important to be very careful and cautious about the statements we make, especially the general statements. And then the learner shows the courtesy to say that, sir, I think it is like this. There are Indians who move forward, who are quite confident. And then there was another point that the tutor said, and he was not willing to comply. It's not necessary that you have to agree to every other point that the learner puts forth on the platter, but it can be done in a polite way, or it can also be done in a moderate way, in a balanced way. It was all about a particular topic that is of relevance, but still I'm speaking about the method. And then every other sentence got corrected. So what happened? I could see that the learner was not getting a chance to speak in the first place. Second thing was that the learner was losing confidence gradually, but he was able to withstand all this because of his practice, all the practice sessions. So I told you that he has been taking sessions, and this is also another experience. I know that this could have added to his experience. I'm not trying to say that the learner was uncomfortable, but it can become an uncomfortable zone for a beginner, even an advanced learner. Correcting every other sentence, not even looking at the pattern and saying it's not supposed to be like this. Allow the learner to speak, and after that you can type, you can correct the learner. Even I have done that, and then gives constructive feedback and say, this is what you have to do. In between, the tutor also went to the extent of praising the learner, saying, you're quite prompt, you're great with your expressive style and everything. Good. That's great. Praise the learner for the strength. But overdoing it is not good, because in between, if you're going to praise beyond the limit and then put down the learner saying that this is right, this is not right, it's not going to help. Because what I noticed in this session was that he was trying to speak. He was trying to bring forth a point and then politely disagree to what the tutor was trying to say. but he got stuck because of the corrections made. So, if the corrections hinder and also cause some kind of obstacle in the thought flow and fluency or the flow that the learner is trying to gather, then I think the tutor should slow down with the instructions, guidelines, and all that. That is a power of decisiveness where we slow down and we allow the learner to gather the thoughts, write down something if it is necessary, type out something if it's an online platform, or think and then produce it. I told about the teacher talk time. We have to reduce the teacher talk time instead of giving a lot of instructions, because being adults, I think most of the learners, when we take sessions for adult learners, they know what they're doing. And in the beginning, the tutor said, you're very sure of your training sessions, you know why you're here, and that's great. I just encourage and support that. I completely agree with whatever you have been doing in life after self-introduction. So when that's the case, allow the learner to speak. Then after that, the tutor can go on with the feedback saying that you have taken a couple of sessions. I can see that you have got great strengths and you have been working on your action areas, but you can also work on this. So you don't have to phrase the sentences like this. Even if you're helping your friend as a co-learner, you can try this out. And then the last point, when we have a conversation, it's not necessary to smile all the time. You can be pleasant, you can be approachable, you can also politely refuse, you can disagree. There is a way to do it, but it's not necessary to smile all the time. Because when you keep smiling, people can take advantage, or otherwise it may not bring about the seriousness of the topic that you're discussing about. So having a pleasant face is good. Okay, you don't have to have that grumpy, rigid, or you can say stern face all the time, which some of the tutors put on. Some of the learners also put on such face, trying to show that they're very confident. You can be pleasant. You can have a range of emotions displayed on your face. You can have a little bit of surprise. You can also have a little bit of worry. It's okay to display that, but not to a larger extent. It's not necessary to smile all the time, is my point. You don't have to keep smiling to show that you're good with communication skills. I have been listening to a lot of people, even when you open videos on TED Talk or when you listen to people, great authors speaking, they don't always have a smile. They convey things through their tone, the body language, the way they keep their hands. Sometimes they have a wide grin and they take a lot of pauses to speak. Even when you listen to great speakers from India and all over the world, they have been following this. They're quite clear with the communication and the words they choose. If they make a mistake, they are courteous enough to say that I think I made a mistake here, but still this is what I wanted to convey. I've heard many tutors saying smile all the time when you speak. That is also part of communication skills. I think what they're trying to tell you is have a pleasant face instead of putting on that nervous, anxious face. You can just calm down. Calm down. Relax. If you're nervous while speaking to a tutor, even when you're taking an interview, when you're conducting an interview, when you're also attending an interview as a candidate on the other side, just relax, calm down. It's not very easy, but still when you do that itself, you will feel at peace. Though not completely and fully at peace, you will know what your mind tells you. You'll be able to communicate clearly. I think that is the meaning, but you don't have to always wear a smile unnecessarily. If you have a smiling face, good. When you express certain things, it's good, it's pleasant. But at times you can also look genuine. Okay, because we always look at the face when we speak to a person. So here you're looking at me. You're listening to me. Some of you are reading the subtitles also. Some of you would be concentrating and focusing on the background. Whatever it is, you're listening. I believe that you're listening. That's a trust I have in you. But you can express certain things on your face. You can also show that you're approachable. You are listening. I think the best thing is to listen to the person. But remember, this tutor did not have listening skills. Though he said in the beginning of the session that you have to speak, don't hesitate, feel free. Feeling free is okay, every tutor reminds that. But 8 to 9 minutes of instructions, bombarding with lectures and speaking for a very long time about how the communication, the conversation should go, demeanor, smile always. How would you feel? The learners who come to you, as far as I have been watching and analyzing my learners from my research, I understand that most of the learners, all of them are adults, and some of them are mature to understand what you're trying to say. They are not good with grammar and communication skills. They are not aware about certain things. They could be ignorant. They could be immature at certain times. But there is a way to deal. Okay? When I say there is a way to tackle and deal with such things, we don't have to load the learner with instructions because that can be boring. That can also subconsciously contribute to the decrease in confidence. Okay, allow the person to speak, and too much of introduction from the tutor side is not required, even from the learner side, where you speak about all that you have been doing. If the topic is related to hobbies or all that you have been doing yesterday, today, daily routine, your month's plan, it's fine, very good. You have a good rapport there, you have a mutual understanding, and you share. It's a great conversation. So remember that conversation means you give and take, allow the person to speak. If it's a training session, you do activities, but bombarding with instructions and guidelines will not help if you're helping somebody. And then make sure that they speak. Give them the space to speak. You also listen at that time. Don't give generalized statements like Indians are like that, Westerners are like that, or this culture, this community is like that. You would have seen people belonging to that group or a behavioral pattern, but it may not be the same. So when we make generalized statements, we can use words like most of them, generally, usually, a particular fraction of the society, this section of the society, but don't have judgmental statements where you are quite sure saying that everybody is like that. No. Then I have written some of the points. Teacher talk time should be reduced, especially as a tutor. Find out the meanings of the words like demeanor. Then I already gave you the meanings of the words like shy, being timid. See, when we make use of words, even as a learner, some of the words, some of the emotions, feelings, some of them are temporary, abstract. Okay? Don't take it to the absurd level. Abstract emotions, feelings, everything is there. But don't take it to the absurd level where you conclude and say, everybody's like that. Everybody's like this. It happens like this because of that reason. We cannot conclude because the world is changing every second. What is the use of saying that you have got 33 years of teaching experience when the methods are wrong? We have beautiful tutors. Even this session had a wonderful tutor. Great session. But still, the wrong methods of teaching should not reach even one learner, because that learner is also making an attempt to learn. So some of you may feel by the end of the session that I knew everything about this, I'm sure about all these things, but things go unnoticed, unlisted. And when you pay attention to such minute details, your learning journey becomes effective and fruitful. It's not the bigger things on the platter, it's not the grand narrative that you have to pay attention to, but these minute things can also make your journey pleasant. Okay, I'm not speaking about the demeanor, but everybody has got that communication skills. Just bring it out. Happy learning!